Good morning, everyone, and that was a nice intro. But I don't need that much. But I'm just very humble, as we all know. But this is going to be one of our better shows. We updated our equipment. We might have some kinks, and if we do, I'd like you to call my cell phone, and I'll end up putting my speaker on, and then we'll go from there. So my cell phone is 518-569-8200.
Hang on one sec, okay?
And then we'll go from there. Okay?
We have our caller.
Okay, we have, is it Julie?
Yeah.
Okay, our guests, we have three guests today. We have Coach Beavais here, Julianne Moore, Freeman, and then at 9 o'clock, Erin Pratt will be calling. So here we go. Good morning. Julie?
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you for calling all the way from, you're in Tennessee, right? Do I get that state right?
No, my phone number is Tennessee. We're military, so I kept it. I live in Arlington, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry, man.
Oh, no. I love everywhere I've lived, so it's good. We're good.
Okay, we have Coach Beavais in the office. Start asking him some questions.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, Coach?
Great this morning.
Carol there with you?
What's that?
Is Carol there with you?
No. She's walking the dog.
All right. You did bring the coffee, though, right?
I did not.
Oh my gosh, Coach.
So we're in trouble, I think.
Julie, tell me a little bit your thoughts on Coach Beavais.
We had a great program going at Westport. Coach dedicated many hours of his life to making sure that basketball and sports were a part of our community. One of the great things about our school is that it was such a community. You were such a small school that you had to work with all the teachers, so Coach worked with all the teachers, so I not only got to play basketball, but we worked together. I got to be in the band with Mr. Saltgiver. I got to be with Mr. Gibbs and do debates. So we had a wonderful situation in a small school where we could experience a lot of things, and it wouldn't take away from sports. So basketball was just one of the many things in our community, and Coach made sure that it was accessible to as many people as possible.
Thanks, kid. That was our goal, right, Julie?
I like it.
And it was designed so that every child had an opportunity to gain that self-esteem that they needed to go on. So,
agreed.
Thank you.
Julie, isn't it something that Westport, 2 Division I players, that is so amazing. That's just it's mind-boggling, and I'm sure you have to attribute a lot that to Coach Beavais, and I'm sure you worked hard too. But wow, Westport, New York. I love it.
I think that there's a lot more Division I athletes out there. I think that one of the great things that we discovered when I was in school is that there's programs out there that you can get seen and you can get noticed. The same thing with Malone. We have like Missy West and Dia and all those great players. I think that we just had the Lake Champlain Lakers. When I used to travel to Albany, I have to attest that to my mom, my dad, my family, and all the sacrifices that they had to make to take us to Albany to do all of that. And then Coach was able to get a group of people here that were able to bring all those great athletes together so we could showcase. And the game is changing a lot, but we still have all of those amazing athletes near us. They just need the exposure. There's a lot of us out there.
I know it. I'm going to start with this question. It was one way down the list. Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark? Who's better?
Is that for Coach or for me?
That's actually for both of you. I'm going to ask Erin the same question.
Go ahead, Erin.
I think you can't forget like Daisha Fair and
I know.
Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart.
Yep.
And all of the players that we have out there. I think Paige Becker has gone through a lot of injuries, and she comes back, and she's a great advocate. And I think Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal shooter, and she comes from a program where she had to lead the program. But you have the whole South Carolina Gamecocks team, where you can take any of those players, and they're all amazing. Aaliyah Boston, I mean, there's just so many great players out there today. Those are just different. Like Paige Becker has AZ Flood, her best friend who's playing on the team, who's from this area.
Yep,
I mean,
really? Wow.
2 great programs, some great kids. But coming back from injury or being able to stay healthy, they're both phenomenal. What Caitlin Clark has done for the game, like getting some things, is admirable. And both players are phenomenal.
Isn't it something
Great
that...
role models for everyone out there. But we can't forget about all those players like...
I know.
Syracuse, right? Fair didn't get a lot of press this year. She's a 5'5" guard, but she's 3rd leading scorer ever, I think.
Yeah, I think they just cut her. I heard that, but she's looking to get picked up by someone else. But I remember refereeing one of her games at a AAU tournament, and I said, "Wow, this girl is amazing, flat out amazing." Isn't it something that the WNBA is selling out everywhere? Every Liberty game has been sold out. It's great. So I love seeing it. I'd love watching the games. I think women's basketball, they're more fundamentally sound than the men. Their passing skills, they're using screens, and if people watch that, they'll see that. So I love it. So I'm going to start with some of my questions. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Talk about when you decided to play basketball as a youngster. And Coach Beavais can kick in anytime he wants to. But what do you think? When did you start? What age? What grade? Were there outdoor courts in Westport?
Do you want me to
There
step
were.
in,
We had 2 right
step in,
outside
Julie?
of the
I
lunch
think
line. But I used to play on Saturday mornings with my dad and his best friend Mac, and our family would go and we'd just play at the courts on Saturday mornings. And then I think it was Mr. Brankman in charge of our Saturday morning program in our town, and my brother Alex is 2 years younger than me, and they had mixed teams, boys and girls, so I think he went in the phone book and he called every girl in the area so there could be a girls team so we'd get more playing time. Seriously. And so my first tournament, I think I got a certificate and it said I was good. So I said I keep playing. I mean, positive reinforcement is positive reinforcement. But it really started with playing with my family. It brought me joy. 5th grade.
And then, of course, we got involved with trying to get the community in, and Julie, and we had the afternoon programs and the summer programs. I got to coach the younger girls when I was in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. I would be the coach of Frances Holtzauer. Right.
And Julie and Allison. And we would go in and we'd play teams, and they were in 3rd and 4th grade, and we played 5th and 6th graders. And we'd say, okay, our goal today is we're going to score 10, and they're not going to score 50. Bring it in. Because we were new, and they were little.
We had a lot of fun.
And they had a great time. But we got the opportunity to coach so we could see the other side of the game.
And I think that was the big thing, what you guys contributed as players. And then with the young kids, and of course, we always had great pride in our physical education programs, in which we did a lot of the various skills dealing with balance, ball skills, and different to teach the strength level and the coordination that they needed to go on to play the different sports, because we only had how many kids in high school, Julie? Do you remember? Approximately 28 kids.
Oh my gosh!
Girls. 2
Division I players.
All right.
28. No, man.
So a lot of these kids, I think it came through our physical education programs, and then the kids that were playing, all right, such as Nanette and the other members of our community that were really great players also. all right, that stepped in and helped on Saturdays and different things like that in the leagues that we tried to create on the outside courts and different things like that. So it's a contribute to everybody that wanted to step up to see the kids become successful, not only in basketball or the other sports, but it was all the start of Title IX also at that time, which was a big thing, in which the state stepped in and finally said, okay, it's time for the young ladies to have their opportunity to play.
One thing you're still the all-time leading scorer in Section 7, boys and girls. You're 18th in the entire state, but I know you, Julie, you don't care about that. You just wanted to win, and I know that for a fact, and points don't matter, winning, right? Do you agree with that?
I think that we just had a great program. I think that one of the things I remember is, we had to distribute in the second half, which probably helped with my game. I became a much better passer because we would be beating teams by quite a bit. So we would distribute, and everyone got better that way. We'd be ready for the playoffs. We used to get to go down on Saturday and play on a big court in Peru, and the coach there was just so wonderful. We got to play full court, and we had a lot of great people, and a lot of people didn't play a lot, and they still contributed, which is a skill in itself, because not only 5 people can be out there at a time, but we always talk about Division I athletes, but the time that you put in as a Division III athlete is just as much, and you're doing that for the love of the game. And we had people like Nanette Sherman, who played basketball, and we had so many people who played. My sister played 2 sports in college. She played soccer and she played basketball, and she had a full-time job, and she also was going to college. So I mean, you've got it. People are always talking about the Division I athletes, but we have to remember, just as NCAA athletes, it's a pretty phenomenal thing to be able to play a sport in college and to have that.
Gosh, I love that answer. I really do. The fact that you're recognized in Division III, which I played, and I like that answer a lot.
Well, look at all of the Plattsburgh State players. Like I got to coach at Plattsburgh State for a year as an assistant, and let me tell you, like all those local players who are still local, who can contribute to like the next generation, and they're having the kids now who are the athletes of the future. Like we need to get them seen and exposed so they can have that experience too.
You won't be able to be on the same time as Erin. Anything you want to say to her right now? I'm sure she's listening.
I watch Erin's show with my niece Quinn, and what Erin does is amazing. I start clapping during the show, and I cover my eyes during parts. When I used to babysit Erin, she got me out of my comfort zone, and I would touch things like frogs, and she was saving frogs when she was like 7.
Oh my gosh!
She's got 2 of the best parents in the whole world. My daughter did a little equestrian, and I always think of Erin.
That's so
Erin
nice.
Is multifaceted, wonderful, with that great smile.
Well, Julie, you really are setting the standards for discussing the aspect of how our community came together. All the girls and the boys programs and everything else were pretty outstanding, and I have to sound that horn for these kids because they were all part of it. And on Saturday mornings, we would get on a bus to go play on a big court someplace because our court was so small. And that was really outstanding. And everybody would bring their orange juice or their contribute. And you guys would step up and help the younger kids coming along for the years to come to keep that program going. And that's really outstanding. And the way I see, all the records and the accolades and everything that you received and kids received that went on and played Division I. All right, but the other kids that contributed and played Division III were outstanding. And the one family, the Connolly family, I think they still hold the Section 7 record for the number of of kids that contributed and won sectional championships, not only in basketball, soccer, and of course the track and field kids that we started with the Title IX program was outstanding. And your contribution was fantastic, and it still is. So, and I know your heart's there, so it's pretty special.
What other colleges recruited you, Julie, other than North Carolina, Greensboro?
Colleges all over the country. It was when you get phone calls and letters, but all over the country, all different places. I almost went to the military academy, but my brother Alex ended up going. But Lynn Navarro was the coach there at the time, and I'm still friends with her now. I loved Sienna. They had Gina Castelli there as the coach at the time. And some of me regrets not staying closer to my home, just closer to my dad and my mom. I mean, my dad was probably one of my mom had that camera on her shoulder the whole time. My dad would surprise me at UNCG, but I'm very happy with Lynn Agee and Carol Peschel, my coaches there, and Kim Furlow was one of my assistants. They're all wonderful, and I still keep in contact with all of them. But all over the place. I mean, you never know. I did look at a couple Division III schools too, like Middlebury, and there's just great schools all over. I think you just have to find your fit and what you're looking for.
Absolutely. I have another one here. Maybe you won't be able to remember, but when you played in high school, who was your toughest defender? Like, you would say, "Uh-oh, she's guarding me," and is there anyone that really stands out on that?
Well, they killed us every year, but it was the Schaaf girls, Karen and Wendy Schaaf. I think Karen's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame in New York this year or next year. And Wendy, her sister, is one of the most prolific and underrated players ever. But Karen and Wendy Schaaf, whenever we played that team, it was always a battle. We always had Rebecca Dayton, who was like a 5'6" forward who could jump out of the gym and was just such a phenomenal athlete. But they were always the 1-2 punch, I remember.
I'm glad you mentioned them.
We almost got them, though. We lost by 1 point. Do you remember? In Schenectady.
I try to forget, Coach. I try to forget. Unfortunately,
that was a great game.
So
it was a great
hopefully
game.
I'm going to see Karen and Wendy soon. Karen's in
yeah, you have to remind her
and
of
Wendy
that.
still lives near her parents. I got to live with them one summer when I did Empire State Games. And their little brother Phil, who's I think 6'7" now, but
oh my
I
gosh,
called him the little cool dude. They were a pretty great family.
Yeah, they definitely were. They brought the insight to starting AAU in the Northeast, Julie, I think, and of course you were part of that because of that experience of getting AAU in the North Country, and we decided that it's time to get the board to get these kids seen. So it's congratulations to you on that.
I have to ask this question. What is Arkansas like? What's the difference between your hometown now compared to Westport? I mean,
Arlington is huge. Arlington, Virginia is just a big place, and right now with sports, they want you to they want you to play one sport, and they want you to focus on it, and you can play at a high level year round. I totally would have loved that with basketball because that's like I still play. But
wow,
I'm very proud of like my son who played high school football, lacrosse, and basketball. He's one of the few kids who played three, and he chose not to play basketball this year, but he played football and basketball. But that's not normal. Here, there's like a real focusing on one sport, and I don't know if that's what everyone does, but it was very exciting to be on all of those different teams and meet all of those different athletes. And my oldest did color guard, which was a whole other new thing that's team oriented and amazing. And then my other daughter's an artist, and I got to go to a lot of wonderful things with her. So it's nice to see all of the things that are out there. But at Westport, I was able to try a lot of everything because we had to. But it really helped to shape me. But I think that the parent aspect of everything, just those positive parents and those supportive parents, are why kids can do what they do. My mom and dad were great, and I see parents all over in Westport and here in Arlington that really make a difference in their kids' lives.
Do you love
And
coming
again,
home
teachers.
to Westport? Do you love coming home?
I love coming home. I still stop and see Ben Nelson. I talked to Rob Ray and Bill Johnson. They were coaches at North Country Community College. I went to all their camps. I still sometimes say hi to Fred Hooper. His team is the one that beat us, and I can't even remember what year, but I know he was the one who beat us in MVAC play. I still talk to Debbie Sherman all the time.
Nice.
I love to go to the coffee shop in Westport. I always go to Bessboro and buy my things. I go to all the restaurants, and yeah, I could. Everything about Wadhams Westport is wonderful.
Are you coming home
Everyone
this summer?
here is just great. It's so nice to come back. And Sherry White, keep fighting that cancer. You're a rock star. She was my point guard
Thank you for
in
that.
high school, and she's a teacher at Mariah, and she's awesome. And she's been wearing these beautiful wigs this year and getting it done. Keep going, Sherry White.
Are you coming home this summer?
Absolutely. I'll be home with my mom. I got to get through. We have my oldest going to law school.
Wow.
Isabella's in her senior year at VCU. My Jackson's going to Virginia Tech, and I have my middle schooler who has to see my brother Anthony's kids, Quinn and Hudson. And my sister will be up here for my son's graduation, so will my mom, in just next week. So lots going on in this month, so I need to get back to Wadhams and Westport to go hiking and calm down and enjoy everyone there.
I have to really thank you so much for coming and speaking at my camp. The kids loved you. They really did. And if you want to stop in, if you're here, just to say hello, that's fine. Don't feel obligated, but that was, the girls that took pictures with you were just amazed, and thank you so much for that. So
I love meeting the athletes of the North Country, and when there's things to support there, I know that all of the people around here will come back and support them, because the Adirondacks is like a super special place, and what we do is pretty wonderful.
Yep.
Now,
Thank you, Coach Beavais.
Julie is a great teacher, by the way. All right, and always has been. Okay, and being in the elementary districts of education is really, I think, it's given a great insight to her family and everything else that she's done. So just great job, kid.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Don't forget to call now. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a couple of questions from some guy named John Smith. Do you know him?
Everyone knows John. Hi, Johnny Smith.
Okay. I'm going to ask just a couple of his questions. And Coach Beavais chuckled on that for some reason. I don't know.
I just saw John trying to get across the crosswalk. So I said, come on, John, you got to pick up the pace, will you? I'm in a hurry. And I don't think he recognized who I was, but it was fun.
He said, I want to say how fortunate he was to know each of you, be it my gym teacher, Coach B, Julie, and Erin, friends as well. Erin was my graduating class. And the one question goes to both Erin and Julie. What was it like playing for Coach Beavais?
It was fun.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Coach was fundamental. We learned all the drills, and we knew what we were doing. We knew how to do it. We played as a team. We talked. He'd bring our families into it. My dad, I think, kept stats every year. It was just, it's always great to be part of a team.
Sure.
And Coach let us be ourselves. So
he's the best.
it was wonderful.
I
mean,
wish I would have played for him.
How about the stories, Julie, on the way to the gyms on Saturday? The books, the children's books. Do you remember those? Or was it in my head of the game here? I'm not sure. But we had the children's books that we would take turns reading. on the way to the gyms on Saturday mornings. Because that was the time that all of our players got a chance to play, and they played extensive. And you guys on Saturday really helped develop our teams for the future, because your Friday night game was usually a great game, and then you contributed to helping the other kids play the game and understand the game, along with developing our team for the future. So that was
it was nice. Like when we would go to Peru on Saturdays too, Coach, we would have both coaches coaching us.
Right.
Like Coach would say thanks to Peru players. The Peru coach would give us tips too. It wasn't like it was one coach against the other coach. Everyone was trying to get better.
Well, Sharon was just fantastic.
That's always nice.
Person. She's no longer with us, but was just a great gal.
Coach, if I may just interfere for a sec, we got another line. We got another caller on the second line for you. It's a John Smith. John, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Beavais.
How you doing, John? I was the
Long
guy.
time no talk to, Coach.
Right. It was the other day. Don't you remember? I said you got to pick up your pace across the crosswalk.
Yeah, how you been, though?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Coach. And would you believe I will have my master's degree by next year from college?
Isn't that great, John? All right.
And you've been instrumental to me there, Coach.
Well, good. Good for you. And congratulations. I think that's great, John.
And you're a true North Country legend there too, there, Coach. So don't let anybody fool you.
Oh, well, that's great. Thank you very much.
John, we have. I have to cut you off. We have another phone call. Thanks.
That's fine.
Okay.
Take care, Coach.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. You got it?
Okay, you're on with the Tom Lacey Hour. Go ahead. Hello?
Hi, Tom. This is Julie. I was just cut off, and I wanted to say thank you for having me on the show.
Gosh. Sorry about that, man.
Oh, no worries. Technology is technology.
I just want to say you are the classiest person, one of the classiest that I've known, other than this guy that's sitting right next to me, Coach Beavais. And, I respect you so much. And I don't know if I told you, but all my campers are getting free pair of sneakers this year. And I can't wait, see the smiles on their faces. So fundraising went well.
What you do with the free camp. The camps are great.
Yeah, I love doing it. I just love seeing the smiles on people's faces. And I grew up very poor, couldn't afford sneakers or camps, and that's why I do it, really, So.
But I'd like to say one thing, Tom, and that's, and Julie is one of the first ones to recognize this. And she brought this up, the number of people in the community that stepped up, all right, and gave us this opportunity was fantastic. Camp Dudley, as an example, allowed us to use their large court facility, all right, and we were practicing in there in the wintertime with different types of trying to create heating systems and different things like that. But Ben Nelson was outstanding, and he's another member of the Hall of Fame in New York basketball that really contributed to helping all of you kids, and especially for basketball in the state of New York. I mean, he was just an outstanding person, and contributed to our school. And the start of Title IX, I think you were there at as part of that, especially as a younger person. And how we contributed and got together with Mariah and Elizabethtown and Keene Valley, and offered the other sports, the track and field, and the different activities. So again, thank you for your leadership.
Yeah, Julie, we have Erin calling. So thank you so much again. The all-time leading scorer in Section 7. And we're all proud of you for everything that you do. So you take care of yourself, all right?
Thank you so much. Give a big hug and a hello to Erin Pratt for me. She rocks.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank
kid.
you. Bye.
Make sure you call.
Bye.
Check in.
Bye, Coach.
Check in.
Bye, Tom. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, Erin, you're on.
Oh, morning.
Hey. Hello, Erin. Tom Lacey here.
How are you?
This is Dr. Erin Pratt, right?
Well, yes, now Schroder.
Sorry, yeah.
Whatever. Oh, that's okay.
Schroder or Schroder? I keep saying it wrong.
Here. It's spelled Schroder, but pronounced Schroder.
Okay. We have Coach Beavais in the office here. Why don't you start out by just saying hello and anything you want to say to him right now?
Hi, Coach. How are you this morning?
How are you doing? I know you had the surgery. How's it going?
Well, really, to you guys for the last bit with Julie, and I'm good morning, Julie. I'm so sad that I didn't get to kind of be part of that and visit with her. She sounds wonderful. But yeah, I just had my knee replaced, so I'm feeling great. Actually, it's going really well. I'm having some coffee, looking at the Missouri River, so all is well in the Midwest.
Well, that's great, kid. I've been following. Getting
Thank
the
you.
reports. I didn't want to bother.
Oh no, it's knee replacement's a little different deal. That's a little tougher than I was expecting. But
well, Dad will tell you all about that, right?
no, I think I pretty well in the gene pool except for these knees. My mom's had one done and my dad's had both, so I feel like it was sort of inevitable.
Right. Well, great. And thanks for
It's
contributing.
so good to hear all your voices.
Yep. I'm going to start with this one question, and I started with Julie, because Paige Beckers or Caitlin Clark, who would you take? I have to ask that right away.
Well, I think there's a ton of amazing players. I think Caitlin Clark, I got to pick her in just the fact of those two because she has drawn so much attention to the women's game. And my mom was visiting out here recently, and we would just stop what we were doing, and she was going to go watch Caitlin Clark play. I have two sons who are going to be 19 and 21 here real quick, and I've been trying to get them to sit and watch women's basketball with me forever. And until honestly Caitlin Clark became Caitlin Clark, it was tough. They were, it wasn't. She made it really cool, and
yes.
I think that's there's a million great players, but I think that's something that she has been able to do is to bring eyes on women's basketball, and so we'll take it. So for that reason, I pick her.
They're selling out everywhere. WNBA is selling out every game. Liberty have sold out every single game. They're drawing more than the Knicks. It's unbelievable.
It's awesome. I think that it's finally time.
Yep.
There's so many other amazing players that have been, who are now retired or doing other things, and I think we all kind of have a smile, because in some little way, any woman who has played women's basketball feels like it's like, you can just kind of smile and nod your head and be like, yes, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
She's playing against Diana Taurasi tonight, and I'm hoping, because Taurasi's kind of been little bad-mouthing her a little bit, and I hope Caitlin drops 40 on her tonight.
It would be nice.
Yep.
I can't imagine the pressure, and that's something my younger son Chase said. He's like, just imagine all these eyes on you.
Yes. Yep.
The pressure is really tough.
Are you there? Or I can't hear you.
Hello.
Erin?
Handle that and live under that microscope is pretty impressive.
Here's a funny question. And you know me, I'm kind of funny at times, but okay. Presidential, Biden, Trump, or Caitlin Clark? Who are you going to vote for?
Caitlin Clark all the way.
Same here.
Caitlin Clark all the way.
Yep.
I didn't ask that question, Julie. Julie, I mean Erin. Come on now.
Oh, that's right. No,
Right.
What other colleges recruited you?
Oh gosh, there was I did home visits. I think there were like 30. Coach, I think you were there for a lot of them.
Oh yes, there was many. Right. You still with us?
Erin, you there?
Oh.
Her phone is breaking up or something.
Oh. She'll have to call back.
All right. Well, Erin, if you're listening, just give us a call back, okay?
Are you there?
Oh, yep.
Oh, okay.
We
Yep.
lost you for a second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
Nebraska's an awesome state, minus the cell phone service. There was a lot of schools, big and small, and I really fell in love with Syracuse for lots of reasons. I loved being far enough away from home, but still close to home, and it was just a really neat environment.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the game in Hudson Valley Community College, Julie, where Coach Freeman was sitting behind the bench, actually helping this coach. And he dropped 34 in that game, so that wasn't too bad. Right?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a great one. All right. And,
you bet. I forgot that.
You forgot that one, but you remember the whole staff was there. Like you couldn't get any closer to recruiting. Erin,
literally almost the water. Yes, they were almost serving Gatorade and water. It was
exactly
just
right. It was fun. And say hello to Mom and Dad, especially Dad and Mom. And they're just great people. And they were so.
They are. I'm sure they're listening, and they've both gotten so sentimental as they've gotten a little older. And
that's our privilege. That's our privilege. You have to remember that.
I can't imagine the amount of tissues they're going through. So good morning, both of you guys. I miss you, and I'll see you soon.
Right.
Wow. Are you coming home this summer? Are you going to come up?
I am.
Nice.
I am. We're making a family caravan. My husband Ben and I and our two boys and their two girlfriends are all driving cross country kind of right around the 4th of July and going to come home and spend a couple weeks and just get to share what is wonderful about the Adirondacks and West Fort Wadums, and we're really excited.
Any chance you might, I run a free basketball camp. If you can just stop in and say hello, that'd be great. It's
oh, you bet. Send me the info.
Okay,
I'll make it work.
Definitely. Wow. I have to ask this question. When you played in high school, who was your toughest defender? Like you said, this girl's guarding me. I'm going to have a little trouble. So, is there anyone?
Well, I do agree. I heard Julie's answer with the Schaff girls, and Karen was my roommate. She played at Syracuse. So they were really tough, but on a consistent basis, and I can't for the life of me remember her, and I'm sure she's married, her last name, but there was a Shannon from Scroon Lake who was she was a really tough defender. She was a tall gal, and then there was a really tall girl from Crown Point. Coach, you probably remember their names, but they were both really tough gals. And
I'm going to have to take the fifth on that.
I know. I just remember every time in Scroon Lake I had to play against this gal named Shannon. She was really tough, and and Crown Point seemed like they always had a couple really good players, and so I think my parents run into people who know, who kind of traveled in the circle and had gals about the same age as I was growing up, and so I know they're all doing fine because I've heard from my folks, but I apologize. My name recollection is a little iffy.
Wow. Let's see. Do you remember playing in our summer league? The Peabody's League. Remember?
I do. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Sarah Bushy and I played.
Sarah,
I think we were the only two girls at that point playing in the men's. Yeah. Oh, it was ever? Oh, that's even better. I have half of a fake, my front tooth I broke in half playing, but it was all a bunch of guys and the two of us, and honestly, that was something that really helped me in Syracuse, because it was just this level of physicality that was like,
was it Neil Fassett that broke your tooth?
It might have been. I don't know. I just remember I was like, I looked at Sarah, and she's like, you don't have a half of a tooth. And so anyway, but it was so much fun, but it was just it really helped me be ready for Division I basketball, because that was the level of physicality I stepped into that was just a whole different can of worms than what I was used to.
Do you remember that year that you played who MVP of the league was?
Oh gosh, I have like a memory. Well, I feel like ants have better memories than I do, but I don't. But who was it?
I'm kind of bragging. It was me.
It was you? Oh, yeah. Well, I should have said that. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I don't like to brag. Yeah, I do. I'm 65. I can brag now.
Oh no, that was a great experience. It was so much fun.
But not when you're 79. You have no excuses. All right. All right. Say hello to Dad for me, and I've been trying to reach him. And thanks again for all of his contributions. And your dad, especially Erin, was very, very important in helping to raise scholarship money for our AAU program that we started here in the Plattsburgh area. Was a member of the board and really went out to help kids in the Northeast to play. And he was just
I feel like
to your family.
As a parent now. Oh, I'm sorry, and it's a little hard to hear you, Coach. So I apologize for talking over you. You don't realize, as a youth, really the extent that your parents are doing to make you succeed. And all of those around you. It's not just parents, but teachers, coaches. I didn't appreciate how much time you were away from your family. I knew you came to practice a lot and you did lots of things, but until, I became a mom, to see the time commitment and, what that meant for your wife and your girls and how much time, you were away from them, to help just do greater good. I think it's, and the same can be said for my dad, for anybody involved in, youth sports and education. It takes a village, and there's so much sacrifice for your personal time and that. And I just, thank you. And thank you to my parents, and thank you to everybody. I mean, it's just such a huge time commitment, and it's something that you don't appreciate and realize until you're old.
Now, wait a minute. Now you're awful young now.
Yeah, you are.
Coach, I just got a knee replacement.
Well, that's okay. That's all right.
It's gonna be all right.
I have a hip replacement, so that's all right. That's good.
I had a frontal lobotomy, by the way.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, I have another question. Let's see. A guy by the name of Hal Cohen. I don't think he played at Syracuse. He graduated in 1980. He's a really good friend of mine, and he said to say hello to you. I'm not sure if you remember him, but he was from Canton, New York, and he's a doctor as well, and he actually has a state record for most consecutive free throws at 598 in a row, and he started at Syracuse, and he doesn't remember you, but he just wanted to say hello because you're both Syracuse grads and you're both doctors. So that is awesome. That's really cool. Well, hello back. He was there a little bit before me, so I don't think our paths probably crossed. Do you remember him though?
I don't, because I was there in 96, 96 to 2000. So I'm sure he was probably in a med school or probably even beyond that by that time.
Yeah.
But it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a big family and big network. Lots of alumni in that university.
I have a funny story about him real quick. He was doing his residency in Boston, and his buddy Rick Carlisle, who's the coach of Indiana, was playing for the Celtics at the time, and Hal would go to the practices and watch and stuff, and then they asked him to scrimmage, and Hal's just saying, he says, I was playing the best of my life. He thinks he was saying, doctor in the morning and NBA player at night, and so the owner, Red Auerbach, comes out and calls over Chris Ford, who was Celtic, and he said, you're gonna have to ask that blonde guy. He has to leave before he hurts someone. and Hal thought the guy was gonna sign him. Hal's a really funny guy, and I just wrote a nice story on him, which will be printed. But so he did say to say hello to you. Okay.
Awesome.
What was your best college game that you remember?
Ooh, I kind of started freshman year. I'd been a fairly big fish in a smaller pond. Although I say that, and we played AAU all over. I think going into, it was either my senior year or after I graduated. It must have been my senior year. I made it down to like the final cut of the junior Olympic team, and
wow.
and was just floored by that. But it was a big adjustment for me going to college, and I think it is for a lot of athletes. Especially coming from small communities and a smaller school. It was just a lot of change, and I was really like super thin. Coach Beavais incorporated such an awesome strength program, and it's something I'm a huge advocate for high school sports activities, and have really pushed out here in Nebraska with the programs I've been involved in. But it was still, I had to bulk up, and so it was about the beginning of my junior year, and I'd worked into a starting position, and I think we were playing in a tournament, and it was down at, I just remember it was NC State, but I think it was a holiday tournament, maybe at Pepperdine. And it was like, I just came out like on fire, and had like an amazing first 10 minutes and scored a bunch, and I think that was the last game before I ended up having to have my first knee surgery. And it was just a really unfortunate, because I had sort of found my flow and found my way, and was physical and big enough, and to really do some damage down low, and so that's kind of my bittersweet moment where I had my best game, but it was also probably really, I think it was one of the last games that I played in.
Gosh. So. How were you as a 3-point shooter? Did you take many?
No. That I do feel I did win the MVAC, like the senior All-Star. I won the 3-point contest, which I do share with my children. I like, how did you win that? And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes you just get lucky.
Way to go.
It was it was a little different. I think the game back then, where I was and I wouldn't even be like a quote unquote like big girl post player now. I'd be like kind of a big guard. But at that point, I was a big girl, and it was just a little different style. I didn't bring the ball up the court. I generally got it to a guard, got it to Nanette, who was my point guard, and or Karina or Allison, and they'd bring the ball up, and I'd go post up and do my thing down low. And so there were much better shooters on our team than me. So we all got in the right seat on the bus.
You know what I like is the fact that you're mentioning those teammates, and I have a feeling they might be listening, and I'm sure they appreciate it. You never forget your teammates, and
you never forget your teammates.
Friends for life, right?
It is, and I have to say that in all of the basketball that I have had the privilege of being a part of, my fondest memories and best ever portion of my whole basketball career was playing at Westport and for Coach Beavais.
Wow.
Hands down. And all of I got to play with and basically consider my family. And you don't really see all those people.
No, you're breaking up a little bit because Nebraska's Wi-Fi.
I need to go get on my roof with a coat hanger here. Is this better?
Yeah, you're.
Okay.
I always knew you were funny. You are pretty funny, by the way.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
No, so I just there was just so it was family. This was Julie mentioned it. In a small school, you do everything so that everybody gets to find something they excel at. You know, you might not be the best basketball player, but you have to have 5 kids to practice against. So maybe you're one of those practice 5. And you know, I certainly wasn't by any means the best saxophone player. I was pretty terrible, as a matter of fact. But you needed a saxophone in the band, or they didn't have a band, and maybe that was somebody else's thing. And so I think that was just a very special part. That's why we put our kids in the school that they are in, or they were in. They've since graduated out here in Nebraska. It's a little teeny tiny. It's basically, why not? It's the same size as Westport was. My kids graduated with 15 and 12, and they do everything, and it's like you basically grow up in a big family.
I think it's flat out amazing that the small village Class D school of Westport produced 2 Division I players. It just amazes me, and I think you can attribute that a lot to Coach Beavais too. You know,
like 99%, truly, because I didn't touch a basketball till I was in 7th grade, and I legitimately looked like, you know, a giraffe on ice skates. I mean, it was not good. There was nothing. There was nobody like, oh my gosh, look at this phenom. It was like, can she even like stay on her feet? And and it was, you know, coach just hung in there. He worked with me. Debbie Sherman worked with me. She was in charge of the JV kind of junior high program, and you know, you don't always get height every day, and that was sort of the gift I had, and I think that kept people saying, don't give up on her, because, you know, there's not another 6'3" just hanging around here. And so, again, it's a community support, and my folks, you know, kept bringing me back, even though they were probably like, we're not sure she's cut out for this. But I loved horses, and I loved animals, and so I loved riding and all of that. And so basketball was a very different thing, and but it was a skill that I had to learn every part of it. There was, you know, I didn't come pre-programmed.
But you were dedicated to creating so many different things in your life.
Well, that was a lot on you, Coach. I never wanted to disappoint you, because you showed up every day and you gave your all. So the expectation was that each player needed to give their all, and that is the truth. And I've tried to emulate that in my coaching, and anything in my parenting, where it's like,
thank you very much. But a lot of it is attributed to my wife for allowing us to do that. I think was exceptional, and I think the big thing is the physical education programs that we had and that we went through, and everybody had physical education. You know, the high school kids had it 3 days a week, and the elementary kids had it every day, and that was the big difference, I thought, in teaching balance and techniques, and actually dance. We did dance, and we did all of this stuff. And you were very good, if I remember. Weren't you in ballet at one time?
I was. I did a lot of gymnastics. So funny story. I think.
Right. And I think that had a lot to do with your success down the road, because your balance was fantastic as a big kid.
Well, thanks, Coach. Funny side story. I did like tap and ballet and gymnastics, and my mom hauled me to all these classes. And you know, there's all these lovely little tiny, darling little ballerina-sized girls, and there was this like giant, like just, you know, a sequoia tree. And finally, I think the gymnastics teacher was like, we were doing back handsprings, and she pulled my mom aside and was like, she's really too big for this sport. Like, you got to find something else. Like, she's going to kick the lights out when she's doing, you know, trying to do cartwheels and things. So, anyway.
Well, it was fun all those years. It was
really awesome.
It was really great to see all of the students and create an identity in our little school that carried on in their life, and to see their families is the now with the success that their families have is just fantastic, and the kids that contributed, and the kids that we lost in AAU, and they're no longer with us, and also the kids that just contributed throughout our school system, and the identity that they were able to get was fantastic.
Erin, who did you go to the prom with? See if you remember the name.
Oh, there were a couple. Yeah, there were a couple. You have to be more specific. There were a few different proms.
Okay, a small school, I understand that. Wow.
Yeah. No, there was had some great friends along the way. How about that?
You don't have to comment. I'm just, I kid around a lot. I really do. I'm going to brag a little bit about something. My daughter, who's at New Paltz State, she tried to play basketball, and she came up to me. She said, "Dad, I don't like basketball anymore." She was in 9th grade, and so she turned to music drama, and I was fine with it. I said, whatever your niche is, and she found it. And in high school, she got the lead part every year. At New Paltz, she got the lead part, and I think you get to be hearing about her someday. Her name is Lacey, and I'm very proud of her. But everyone finds
That's
their
awesome.
niche, no matter what, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you are if you work at McDonald's, give it your best. I admire whatever anyone does for a living. And one thing, the one question I really do not like is when you first meet someone, they'll say, "So what do you do for a living?" And I don't like that question. So I always kid around and I say, I sculpture driftwood, which there's no such thing. And I just kid around, and they finally understand that I was kidding around when I say that I glued a live squirrel to the driftwood. That me, I'm so.
Well,
but
that was great, absolutely great.
Yeah, I know it. I know Neil Facette's listening, and he's saying, "Oh my, Lace, don't say that."
I know. I'm a veterinarian. I can't condone gluing live squirrels.
No, I really didn't do that.
I know.
I don't know, Tom. I think maybe you might want to retract that.
Yeah, you are right. Okay, it wasn't live. I mean, I didn't do it. Gosh, what is wrong with me sometimes, man? So, okay, I'm hoping when you are home, if you could show up for the camp and maybe just give a lecture about playing Division I, or bring your kids too. We have,
would love to.
Yeah, we have 400 kids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, 200 for girls one week and 200 for boys the following week, and I can't wait to see their faces when they get their sneakers. They all ordered whatever they wanted, and it's just I love putting smiles on people's faces, and so this isn't about me. Go on. Gosh,
no, that is awesome, and we'd be happy to do that. And I have one son that is a sophomore at USD. He did play a semester of collegiate football. He was a D3 football guy, and unfortunately ended up having to have a surgery on his back with which ended his career. But he is going into elementary education,
Nice.
Charles, and he's there is a special place in heaven for people who are educators and coaches, and because the level of patience and he's just got it. He is doing the thing he needs to do in life. And then our younger son is going to UNL, and
Nice.
he is going to be in construction management. But both of them really have just taken the lead on being great mentors for younger kids. And again, I put this all back on a small community that you have to give back. That is just one of the rites of passage of growing up in a smaller community, is that that's the expectation. Much is given to you, but likewise, much is expected for you to carry that on. And so they would love to do that, and they'll be that would be great.
What's the earliest you ever dove into the water in Lake Champlain and Westport? The earliest.
My parents are like afraid of water, which is weird because I live like 50 feet off the Missouri River.
Yep.
And again, back to like the giraffe on ice skates. Like I was like not allowed to really get near water skis, snow skis, ice skates. Like they were just like, no, you're like, this isn't a good fit for you. But it was not early, but I think it's kind of chilly, isn't it? It's usually like around the 4th that you want to get in there.
I've already been in already, so.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh.
Lake Champlain. I love Lake Champlain. Okay, it's 9:30. We have to unfortunately end the show. We're both of us, both Coach Beavais and I, are going to say our last comments to you. You were awesome guest, and I'm very proud of everything that you've done. And Coach Beavais, any parting comments?
Yeah, I just, it's so important, the legacy that you left, in our school and the development for kids to idolize. All right, I think it's just something special. But not only yourself, but all of the kids that contributed to the athletic program in our small school, from the boys program that we were the first team to play in the state tournament, all right, at the boys level involved. And so it just was a fabulous situation. So congratulations on your family and everybody else, Erin, and hope to see you, all right, soon, okay?
Well,
yeah.
You betcha, Coach. We got a dinner planned here sometime.
Oh, yes. All right.
And you and I have a 3-point shooting contest, too, all right?
Oh, gosh. I feel like I should maybe start with some layups. Maybe a mic and drill. How about that?
Oh, you remember that.
I got you beat in the mic and drill. I think I still got that left in me.
Well, good luck in your recovery.
Yeah, good luck with everything, and thank you so much, Erin. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and Julie, I hope you're listening. I hope we get to see you, and for all of all the wonderful other Westport, far and near, hope we get to maybe in the beginning of July. So, and I know John Smith was on, and I just wanted to say hi to Johnny. I graduated with him, and talk about a loyal fan and just an awesome human being. So thank you again for having me, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Okay, you take care of yourself.
Yep,
Goodbye.
Coach, you keep Wilson the dog out of the skunk.
I try all the time. All
I know,
the time.
you can't let him off leash, Coach.
Oh,
all right.
not. See you later.
See ya.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.